Congratulations! You just won $315 million in the Powerball lottery. $315 million. You're rich. You're set for life. You never have to work another day in your life. You can buy anything you want, go anywhere you want, do anything you want. You're living the dream. Except you're not. Because in about 5 years, you're going to be broker than you were before you won. And I'm not talking about the, oops, I spent too much on Starbucks this month, kind of broke. I'm talking about the, I can't pay my electricity bill and the bank is foreclosing on my third mansion, kind of broke. Yeah, turns out winning the lottery is actually one of the worst things that can happen to you. Welcome to the nightmare. So let's start at the beginning. You buy a lottery ticket, $2. You pick your numbers or let the machine do it for you. You don't really think you're going to win. Nobody does. The odds are 1 in 292 million. You're more likely to get struck by lightning, twice, while being attacked by a shark. But you buy the ticket anyway because, hey, somebody's got to win, right? Why not you? And then it happens. You're checking your numbers on your phone, half paying attention, and you realize, wait, you got one number, cool, then another. Okay, then another. Wait, hold on, you got 4 numbers, 5 numbers, all 6 numbers. Holy shit, you won! Your heart is pounding, your hands are shaking, you can't breathe. You check the numbers again, and again, and again, because this can't be real. This doesn't happen to people like you. This happens to other people, lucky people, special people. But no, it's real. You won $315 million. For the first time in your life, you're not worried about rent. You're not worried about bills. You're not worried about whether you can afford to fix your car or go to the dentist. You're not worried about anything. You think this is the moment your life changes for the better. You're right about one thing. Your life is about to change, but not the way you think. First thing you do? You don't tell anyone. Not yet. Because you're smart. You've heard the stories. You know what happens to lottery winners who go public too soon. They get swarmed, harassed, stalked. So you keep quiet. You call your boss and tell him you're taking a few days off. Personal emergency. He doesn't need to know what kind. You drive to the lottery office with your ticket in your pocket, your heart still racing. The whole drive, you're thinking about what you're going to do with the money. Pay off your student loans, obviously. That's what, $40,000? Done. Gone. A rounding error compared to what you just won. Buy a house. A real house. Not some shitty apartment where the walls are so thin you can hear your neighbors sneeze. A house with a yard, a garage, maybe a pool. Why not? You can afford it. Help your parents. They worked their whole lives and have nothing to show for it. Now you can give them the retirement they deserve. Travel. Europe, Asia, Australia. Everywhere you've ever wanted to go but couldn't afford. You're feeling generous. You're feeling invincible. You're feeling like the universe finally gave you what you deserve. You walk into the lottery office. They congratulate you, take your picture, hand you paperwork. Lots of paperwork. More paperwork than you've ever seen in your life. And this is where the first decision hits you. The one that's going to determine everything that happens next. Lump sum or annuity? The Lottery Commission explains it to you like you're 5 years old. You can take the full $315 million spread out over 30 years, about $10 million a year. Guaranteed, safe, boring. Or you can take the lump sum, right now, all at once. Except it's not $315 million, it's $178 million. Almost half, just gone. Because that's how present value works. Because that's how the lottery gets you. But $178 million is still a fuck ton of money, right? More money than you could spend in 10 lifetimes. So you take it. Of course you take it. Everyone takes it. Congratulations. You just made your first mistake. Here's what nobody tells you about winning the lottery. The moment you win, you stop being a person. You become a target. The IRS is already calculating how much they're going to take from you. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. Federal tax rate on lottery winnings is 37% for anything over $500,000. So that $178 million? Cool. The IRS just took $66 million. You're down to $112 million. Then your state wants their cut. Depending on where you live, that's anywhere from 0% if you're lucky to almost 9% if you're not. Let's say you're in California. No state income tax on lottery winnings. Lucky you. Let's say you're in New York, 8.8%. That's another 15 million. You're down to 97 million. And you haven't spent a single dollar yet. But 97 million is still 97 million, right? You're still rich. You're still set for life. Nothing can go wrong now. Oh, you sweet, naive idiot. The news breaks. You won the lottery. And suddenly, everyone in your life becomes your best friend. Your phone doesn't stop ringing. Text messages flood in. Facebook friend requests from people you haven't thought about since high school. That kid who used to bully you in middle school? He's in your DMs talking about how you guys were always so close. That cousin you met once at a family reunion 10 years ago? She's calling your mom asking for your number. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a problem. Everyone needs help. And you? You just became the solution to everyone's problems. Your aunt needs money for surgery. Your uncle's business is failing. Your cousin's going through a divorce and needs a lawyer. Your old college roommate has this amazing investment opportunity. Your childhood best friend wants to start a restaurant and just needs a little seed money. Your brother needs a new car. Your sister needs help with her mortgage. Your mom's boyfriend needs bail money. And you want to help. Of course you want to help. You're not an asshole. These are people you care about. People who were there for you before you won. You can afford it, right? What's 10,000 here, 20,000 there? You've got $97 million. So, you help. You write checks. You wire money. You co-sign loans. You invest in businesses you don't understand. You say yes because saying no makes you feel like a bad person. But here's the thing about helping people when you have money. It's never enough. You give your cousin $10,000 for her divorce lawyer. 2 months later, she needs another $5,000. Then another 10. It never ends. Because the problem isn't the money. The problem is that she's bad with money. And your money isn't going to fix that. You invest in your friend's restaurant, $50,000. He promises you'll make it all back, and then some. 6 months later, the restaurant closes. Your $50,000? Gone. And your friend? He's not your friend anymore. He's avoiding your calls. Because now there's resentment, there's guilt, there's awkwardness. Money doesn't bring people together. It tears them apart. But you're still okay. You've given away, what, $500,000? $1 million? That's nothing. You've still got 96 million left. Plenty of money. More than enough. So you start spending. You buy a house. Not just a house, a mansion. 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, indoor pool, home theater, wine cellar, the whole thing. $5 million. You don't even blink. You write the check. You buy cars. A Tesla, a BMW, a Mercedes. Why choose when you can have all three? Another 300,000. You go shopping. New clothes, new watches, new everything. You walk into stores you used to walk past because you couldn't afford to even look in the window. Now you're buying $1,000 shoes and not even checking the price tag. You take vacations, first-class flights, 5-star hotels, Michelin star restaurants. You go to Paris, Tokyo, Dubai, Bora Bora. You're living like a king. And for a while, it feels amazing. It feels like you finally made it. Like you finally became the person you were always meant to be. But then something weird happens. You start to realize that money doesn't buy happiness. It buys temporary distractions from unhappiness. That mansion? It's huge, and empty, and expensive. The property tax alone is $40,000 a year. The heating bill in winter is $3,000 a month. The maintenance, the landscaping, the pool cleaning, the security system, it all adds up. You're spending more money just to keep the house than you used to make in a year at your old job. Those cars, you can only drive one at a time, and they're depreciating. That Mercedes you bought for $100,000, it's worth $80,000 now, and you've driven it maybe 10 times. Those vacations, they're fun, for a week. Then you come home, to your empty mansion, to your old life. Except your old life doesn't exist anymore. Your old friends don't call anymore because they think you're too rich to hang out with them now. Your family only calls when they need money. Your job? You quit. Because why would you work when you have $90 million? So you're alone. Rich and alone. And you're starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, winning the lottery wasn't the blessing you thought it was. But it gets worse. Oh, it gets so much worse. Let's talk about the lawsuits. Because when you have money, people sue you. For everything. For anything. For nothing. Remember that car accident you got into 5 years ago? Minor fender bender, no injuries, you both drove away, the insurance handled it. Done. Except now you're rich. And suddenly that person remembers that actually, their back has been hurting ever since that accident. They need surgery, physical therapy, pain and suffering. They're suing you for $2 million. You think they're joking. They're not. You get served, you hire a lawyer, $50,000 just in legal fees. The case drags on for a year. Eventually you settle for $200,000 just to make it go away. Then there's the guy who claims you stole his lottery ticket. You didn't. You've never even met this guy, but he's suing you anyway. He's saying you found his ticket on the ground and turned it in as your own. Complete bullshit. But now you have to prove it. More lawyers, more fees, more stress. Then there's your ex, the one you broke up with 6 years ago, the one who cheated on you, the one you haven't spoken to since. She's suing you. Palimony. She says you promised to take care of her. You didn't. But she's got a lawyer who's convinced a judge to hear the case. It never ends. The lawsuits never end because you're rich. And in America, being rich means you're a walking target. And then there are the scammers. Oh, the scammers. They come out of the woodwork like termites. There's the financial advisor who promises to triple your money in 3 years. Guaranteed, no risk. He's got credentials, certifications, a fancy office, a nice suit. You give him $5 million to invest. 2 years later, he's disappeared. Turns out he was running a Ponzi scheme. Your $5 million? Gone. And he's in the Bahamas drinking cocktails. There's the charity that reaches out to you. They do such important work, helping children, saving the environment, curing diseases. You donate $1 million. Feel good about yourself. 6 months later, you find out the charity was fake. The founder pocketed the money. Your million? Gone. There's the long-lost relative who shows up claiming you're part of some inheritance scheme. All you have to do is wire them $20,000 and they'll wire you back $2 million. It's a scam. Of course it's a scam. But you're tired. You're overwhelmed. You're not thinking clearly. You wire the money. It's gone. They're gone. One scam after another. One loss after another. Death by 1,000 cuts. You're bleeding money, fast. Let's do some math, because math doesn't lie. And the math is brutal. You won $315 million, took the lump sum of $178 million. Taxes took it down to $97 million. Let's be generous and say you gave away $2 million to family and friends. You spent $5 million on the mansion, $300,000 on cars, $500,000 on vacations and shopping, $2 million in legal settlements, $5 million lost to scams. That's almost $15 million. You're down to $82 million. Still rich, right? Still set for life. Except you're not done spending, because lifestyle inflation is real, and it's deadly. You're used to the mansion now. The cars, the first-class flights. That's your normal. You're not going back. So you keep spending. $50,000 a month on living expenses, another $100,000 on vacations, $20,000 on entertainment, $10,000 on eating out. That's almost $2 million a year, just on lifestyle. And you're not making any money, because you quit your job. And that $97 million, it's just sitting there, in a checking account. Not invested, not growing, just sitting. Losing value to inflation every single day. You think you have all the time in the world. You think $97 million is infinite. It's not. 5 years pass, faster than you thought possible. And one day you check your bank account and see a number that makes your stomach drop. $3 million. That's it. That's all that's left. Out of $97 million, you have $3 million left. And you don't even know where it went. It just disappeared. Slowly, quietly. One expense at a time. One bad decision at a time. One friend at a time. You try to trace it back, figure out what happened, but it's all a blur. The lawsuits, the scams, the gifts, the houses, the cars, the lifestyle. It all blended together into one long, expensive nightmare. And now you're here, $3 million, which sounds like a lot until you realize you owe $2 million in property tax and legal fees. And you still have that mansion that costs $40,000 a year just to exist. And those car payments, and those credit cards you opened because you thought you'd always have money. You're not rich anymore, you're barely middle class, and you're sinking fast. You try to sell the mansion, it's worth $3 million. You bought it for $5. You're underwater on it, and the market is slow. It takes a year to sell. In that year, you rack up another 100,000 in expenses. You sell the cars, get maybe half of what you paid for them. You're broke. Completely broke. Not, I can't afford a vacation broke. Broke. Like, how am I going to eat next week broke? The same guy who won $315 million 5 years ago is now standing in line at the food bank. And here's the worst part. Nobody feels bad for you. When you tell people you're broke, they laugh. How the hell do you go broke after winning the lottery? They ask. Like you're an idiot. Like you're a failure. Like it's somehow your fault that the system is designed to destroy lottery winners. Your family doesn't talk to you anymore because you're not useful anymore. You don't have money to give them. You're not the golden goose. You're just a broke loser who had a chance and blew it. Your friends? What friends? They disappeared the moment you stopped paying for everything. You're alone. Broke and alone. With nothing to show for the $315 million you won except debt, regret, and a painful lesson about how money works. Let's talk about the statistics, because they're damning. According to the National Endowment for Financial Education, 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt within 3 to 5 years of winning. 70%. That's 7 out of every 10 people. And it's not because they're stupid. It's not because they're bad people. It's because the system is designed to fail them. Nobody teaches you how to manage sudden wealth. There's no manual, no instruction guide. You go from making $40,000 a year to having $100 million, and you're supposed to just know what to do? How does that make sense? And everyone around you becomes a predator. Family, friends, lawyers, financial advisors, scammers, the media, the government. Everyone wants a piece of you. Everyone wants what you have, and they'll take it, one way or another. The lottery isn't designed to help you. It's designed to extract money from poor people through ticket sales, then extract it right back after one person wins through taxes, lawsuits, scams, and good old-fashioned bad decisions encouraged by a society that worships wealth but doesn't teach you how to keep it. You were never supposed to stay rich. You were just supposed to give hope to everyone else still buying tickets. Look, he won! Maybe I can too! Meanwhile, you're spiraling into bankruptcy and depression, but nobody talks about that part. So, what happens next? Where do you go from here? Some lottery winners figure it out. They get financial advisors, real ones. They set up trusts. They invest wisely. They say no to people. They stay quiet. They survive. But most don't. Most end up like you, broke, depressed, wishing they'd never won in the first place. There's a guy named Jack Whittaker, won $315 million in 2002. Same amount you won. He was already a millionaire, owned a successful construction company, didn't need the money. 4 years after winning, his granddaughter was dead from a drug overdose. His daughter died a few months later. His wife divorced him. He was robbed, sued dozens of times, lost everything. He went on record saying he wished he'd torn up that ticket. There's another winner, a woman from Missouri, won $93 million. Within 5 years, she was broke. Lost her daughter, lost her house, lost everything. She said winning the lottery was the worst thing that ever happened to her. These aren't outliers. This is the pattern. This is what happens when ordinary people win extraordinary amounts of money in a system that doesn't give a shit about them. You know what's funny? In a sad, twisted way? You're more likely to go bankrupt after winning the lottery than you were before winning. You're more likely to get divorced after winning the lottery. You're more likely to get sued, more likely to lose friends, more likely to develop addiction problems, more likely to die. Suicide rates among lottery winners are higher than the general population. Winning the lottery doesn't solve your problems. It creates new ones, bigger ones, ones you didn't even know existed. That $2 ticket you bought, it wasn't a ticket to freedom. It was a ticket to a nightmare disguised as a dream. And that's why it sucks to be a lottery winner. You thought you won. You thought you beat the system. You thought your life was finally going to be easy. But the system doesn't let you win. It never did. It just let you think you won long enough to take everything from you. Your money, your family, your friends, your peace of mind, your dignity. You're not a winner. You're a cautionary tale, a statistic, a reminder to everyone else that money doesn't buy happiness. That sudden wealth is a curse, not a blessing. that the American dream is really an American nightmare for most people who actually achieve it. So congratulations! You won $315 million, and you lost everything that actually mattered. Welcome to the lottery, the only game where winning means losing, and losing means, well, you never had a chance anyway.